They thought you will come back, but you started moving different. You noticed it in the way you didn't go back like you used to. Even when the opportunity was there, the same space opened the same silence. The same space opened, the same silence, but something in you didn't move towards it anymore. You didn't feel the same urge to reconnect or fix what had already shown you what it was. There was a time when you would have returned without thinking twice. You would have responded, explained yourself, and tried to rebuild what felt off. You believed that things could still work if you approached them differently. So you stayed open even when it wasn't easy. But the more you went back, the more things stayed the same. The same pattern repeated. The same confusion returned. The same effort came from you without being matched. It became clear that going back didn't lead to anything new. It only brought you back to what you had already experienced. That is when something in you shifted. You started to pay attention to how things felt instead of how things looked. You noticed how every return left you in the same place emotionally. That awareness made it harder to keep repeating the same cycle, so you moved differently. You didn't respond the same way. You didn't go back to the conversations that led nowhere. You didn't reopen doors that had already shown you what was behind them. That decision wasn't loud. It was clear in how you showed up. At first, they didn't take it seriously. They were used to you coming back. They expected you to return like before, to reach out or to respond when they did. That expectation made them comfortable because it meant nothing had really changed. But this time, you didn't. You stayed consistent. You stayed consistent in your distance. You didn't return to what was familiar. Even when it would have been easier to do so. That consistency created a difference they weren't prepared for. And it started to show now. They can feel it. The access they once had is no longer there. The predictability they relied on has disappeared. They don't know when or if you will come back. And that uncertainty is something they are not used to handling. You didn't move differently to prove a point. You moved differently because you understood something clearly. You saw that going back wasn't giving you anything new, and you chose not to repeat that experience again. That choice shifted everything without needing explanation. Now the situation feels different for them. They cannot rely on the same pattern anymore. They cannot assume you would return. They cannot assume you will return the way you used to. And that difference is what makes them realize that something has truly changed. They thought you would come back. They thought you would come back, but now you are moving in a way they don't recognize anymore.